Hello! Welcome to a very exciting holiday episode of A Fighting Chance. I'm Jared. We've got Salvador.
Hey.
And we have a very exciting guest for us today. I want to thank, we've got Viacheslav Borshchev, also known as Slava Claus, coming on today. Thank you so much for being here, man. How are you doing?
Doing well. Thank you guys for inviting. Thank you for your outfit. That looks cool. Yeah, I wish I can find it. I don't know where it's mine at.
Sal texted me earlier because he goes, we got to make this our holiday episode. And he's like, I'm really excited. He's like, I'm going to wear a hat. And then I told him that I went out and bought this jacket. He's like, are you serious? I was like, no. but man, it is very exciting to have you here. We've been, I watched you on the Contender series. So like I was right there on Tuesday night watching that with my fiance at the time, who's now currently my wife. But we were up there just, I pretty much watch everything at this point, like whether it's, just except for, I don't watch The Ultimate Fighter. I will admit that. I did not watch The Ultimate Fighter this last season. But I do watch every Contender series. So it was like really exciting to just hear your story back then. And then, watch you on your fights. And then Sal texted me this week, and he's like, dude, I got Viacheslav booked. And I'm like, oh, this is very exciting, because I know Sal's been definitely high on you for this whole year. So he was stoked. So this is really awesome to have you here. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah. How are you doing? How's your holiday season going so far? Is this an exciting time for you, or what's going on out in California?
Oh yes, we really like all these American holidays. Probably favorite for us it's Halloween, because we never had it. Like it's super different. I'll say back in home we don't have even like nothing even close. Well, that was the best one, but Christmas too. Christmas kind of like. It's especially because we live in not far from the spot where people usually walking around looking at Christmas lights, and the kind of like rich houses there, and they like the rich people, they put like some fancy stuff. It's so cool to look at it. To look how rich people live.
Rich people will have other people. They'll have companies come put their lights on the house for them. It's crazy. Like people will literally hire companies to come put their lights up.
Yeah, but
they charge a lot too. It's crazy.
But thanks them. Thanks to them. They make us holidays make better. They make it better. Yeah, and except sorry.
Oh, I was going to ask you: is Halloween just a completely like? Is it just a crazy thing to see everybody dressed up? Is it just such like how is this even a thing? Like, is it hard to comprehend Halloween?
Yeah, it's just, something what we never had, only seen on TV sometimes in the movies. And it's when we first time got together, all family, because as you know, like I used to work almost a year before I brought my family. And I used to work almost a year on that, and finally when they got there, like I already had the Halloween and Christmas before that, but like when they came, that was super exciting for us. We bought all like pirate suits. Well, that was kind of like, and it's even the last one, like I was like some priest with fake hair. Yeah, we bought even for Boris, my young one. I'm actually cheater. He's American already. I work my ass off to stay here legal. He just born here. But anyway, it's just so cool, like how people so friendly, like all doors is open. Probably the biggest thing is because a lot of doors is open. Like, it's kind of like interesting to see.
It is interesting.
Yeah, it's like everybody, oh, you're welcome, giving them candies. It's like something what I never used to before, and that's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Like just people, the concept is kind of crazy. People just giving out candy for free, but
especially.
It's fun.
Yeah, and we live in a world where it's like, oh, stay away from strangers. Except on one day of the year, we like show up dressed as scary costumes.
You trust their food.
Yeah,
trust
the
whatever
idea
they're
of
handing
this
us.
is so cool. Yeah, it's crazy because also, I think it's also good because for kids, when they see all these like scary costumes, they understand it's a joke. It's like it's something like, oh, like you're not scared of it anymore. Like, you know, because since for my kids, I'm always like try to keep away like crazy, like I mean fairy tales. Like I don't like when the kids believe in fairy tales too much. You know, when this make them scared or make them believe what they can do, what they can't. Like it's. I mean, I agree. Like I would like when your goals farther than I even can imagine. But if you jump from the high-rise building, you're gonna die. Yes, you know, like that's why I don't want to lie to my kid. Yeah, I believe maybe one day you can reach to the stars, but make sure you're smart. Do it like astronauts doing this way. Don't just jump from a high-rise building.
You're giving them realistic expectations. I love it.
And that's why I like because we never like believe in boogeyman's, all of this stuff, and when they see it's just costumes, they're like, oh, they're not scared of it anymore. This concept I like.
Yeah.
When I was like 7 years old, I was deathly afraid of this imaginary character that I came up with. I had a nightmare about the Zipper Man. And he was just this made up character that I had, because I had a nightmare about just a man with a brown paper bag over his head and his mouth was a zipper. And I was like very, very afraid of this. And I took a bath. Like, I used to play ice hockey as a kid. And after like ice hockey practice, I was taking a bath, and my dad, he came running into the bathroom with a brown bag over his head with a zipper drawn on the mouth, and I literally jumped out of the bathtub screaming my head off and slipped on a floor, and like I'm just lying on the floor just crying, and my dad's just standing here like, no, oh no, I didn't mean to, like, and I'm like, and I swear, Viacheslav, like I have been so traumatized since that moment.
The Zipper Man.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, don't ever have anybody be the Zipper Man when you're trying to just watch WWE wrestling in a bathroom.
Yeah, for me, the nightmare is gonna be Wrestle Man. Scariest thing ever.
Just wrestling in general.
Yeah, you know, before I came to train with Team Alpha, I never wrestle. Like I have zero wrestling experience, even like jiu-jitsu. Maybe like one session just for fun, but never wrestled. And that was the toughest part for me.
Because like growing up as a kid, all you like, I don't know, as a boy, like you just like always are like grappling and wrestling with your friends here. But like for you, were you just like growing up just like doing head kicks? Like, was that what you were doing?
It's actually interesting. Yeah, kind of like that. Even in my area, if someone fight on the street and if somebody start wrestle, and usually, you know, like if you're not like high level wrestlers, it's just like kind of hugging on the floor, like, and everybody say, "Oh, you like pussy!" Like get like this. They break it right away. Like it's not someone's scared. It means somebody's scared to fight. Like that was kind of like that. And it's funny because it's like it's not everywhere like that. It's only like probably my part where I'm from. It's kind of like which is everybody kind of making fun on me, like you're from Russia and you can't wrestle. It's like just stupid, have no sense. And I'm like, okay,
but
so
where you're from is specific.
Yeah, it's specific my region.
Hey, what's interesting though is your region sounds like basically every MMA fan would love to go there, because that's how every MMA fan, like, and as soon as there's like a holding match going on, that's when the boos start. That's when everybody starts booing in the crowd. So I think like everybody who's an MMA fan, like, or a fan of the UFC would probably love how people fight in your region.
I don't know what to say, but you being honest, like honestly, for very, very long time, I'm also from very homophobe area. I'm already okay. I'm living in California. I already know it's not that scary. It's not like it's not contagious. I already like good. I understand everything. But when I used to live there, there was like so many stupid jokes about wrestling, and even when I thought about I have to do this for my workout. like everybody keep joking like, well, like, oh, okay, you wanna hug another man, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And now I understand how wrong I was. Actually, like if you like that, if you think like that, only one way to get away from that, it's know how to wrestle.
Yeah.
Because technically you got when other men hugging you and you can't get away from that. That's it.
Yeah.
Vyacheslav, is the region where you grew up in, is it a very, very hard place? Like hard-minded? Like are people, is there a lot of like, because you have a very like joyous personality. Like the way you come off, like when you talk in interviews, even right now, like you seem like a happy guy. Like you make me smile when you're speaking. So like, is there a lot of like intensity with the people where you're from, or is it a pretty like happy place with friends and laughter? Like what would you describe it as?
It's it's actually interesting. Like I would say, oh yeah, in general, people almost the same. Like no difference. Especially the people who born after USSR collapsed, because a lot of people grew up on like American movies too. Like I'm like we very familiar with American culture, and I mean we're very close. But we have some specific thing in our culture which is make everything like looks very different. Like just a very simple stuff. If you ever heard the Russian never smile, it's not actually because we're like unhappy or it's just different thing in our culture. Like in my area, if like other men smile to you, it's probably a reason to fight. It's might be like you're like, what you fucking smile for? Like why? You think I'm funny? Like what's wrong with you? Like, and you might even can scare somebody. But you know what? When it was a World Cup, because World Cup was in my city too, I was surprised how many tourists used to say in interview what like, oh, the Russians smile, it's bullshit what they not smile. But I was surprised because I know they not smile. Like they're like, oh, okay, you seriously? It's hard to say. But one thing, one really big issue what Russians have, it's for sure. It's not only Russians, all old USSR, like any other like whatever countries which was a part of USSR. For some reason, a lot of people proud to be rude. I don't know why. Like it's kind of like it's not like too bad, but because of that, sometimes you feel like you might can think, especially in big cities like Moscow, you might can think like people unhappy just because of that. Like you see people and like they if for example here you hit somebody, you more likely is, oh, so excuse me, sorry, like, and people say right back to you. But back at home, they might can fight, like, oh, they might can say something bad. It might be getting better. It's like it's hard to say because, I mean, when you 16 years old, yeah, for sure. Like for 16 years old Russian kids, they crazy. Like they believe in stupid stuff. Like they keep fighting. They just open YouTube and watch like Russian stare downs, face off. They think it's cool. They even forcing people to do that, and then
There's whole fights now at the stare downs.
Yeah,
at the stare
and it's kind of like that. Yeah, it's kind of like that because I myself, I used to believe what you can say something what I maybe can like supposed to kill you for that. Like I really believe like and honestly, a lot of times I punch people before we even start like argue because I was scared they say something and I wasn't be able to kill them and I'm gonna be pussy after that. Like like it's just hard to explain. It's especially right now when I passed all this stuff and I understand this is stupid and I don't want to say anything bad about these people like because they are not bad. It's just like just something different and it's very hard to explain because at the same time they're almost the same. Like they're almost the same, but some issue in this. I would say it's not even culture. It's actually uncultural. Like something what we don't have and what we should, but we don't have it for some reason. I don't know why.
It's like a defense mechanism.
Yeah, maybe self-defense. Maybe also weather. Like in my hometown, like most of most time like maybe 9 months of year, it's
Cold.
like you never really understand, is it like winter or fall or what is that, like it's dirty, cold, like windy, this is stuff. And the summertime, the most beautiful time, it's like so many mosquitoes, like crazy, like Bible story, so bad,
I
so
think
bad.
that's a very I think that's a very intelligent point though. I think weather has to do with the way that people's their demeanor, their like you said, the rudeness. Like I think it really affects people. Like if you go to even cities in America where it's cold, like in Boston, Boston has way harder people. Like their temperament is way different than if you go to California, for example. Like and I'm sure you understand, like, because cold weather, it hurts the bones. Like you're just getting out, like shoveling snow, like taking ice off of your windshield. Like that's definitely a different life than the perfect weather that's in California year round.
Oh, also maybe a little bit part of that. What in Russia we have a lot of cities which is infrastructure very different. They live in high-rise building and use a lot of public transport, and like it's not that friendly atmosphere like when a small town, that people, everybody know each other, walking around saying hi. So but like different, and I believe I can believe in New York people not like smile everywhere, maybe too. I'm not sure, I never been, but probably when you go to underground, everybody like trying to get home or wherever, the job, and they're not
Yeah.
like that nice with each other too, maybe, I'm not sure, but
Yeah,
possibly.
living on top of each other in New York has got to be it's got to be very taxing on your mind, even without even being aware of it. It's got to be so hard just constantly living basically on top of people, like in skyscrapers. And it's it
Yeah.
can't be, it's not a natural way to live, I would think. But I think what you said is spot on, that most people I think are within like a few percentage of being the same. We're just in different places around the world, which gives a different perspective of, hey, this is the way we live, this is the way we live. But I think everybody like basically is after the same kinds of things, which is, love, family, being able to just,
Oh,
do the things
exactly.
that they want to do, and survive. I think survival is key for all of us.
For sure, and that's also why I think, for example, people in Siberia and Ural, and in Dagestan, even in Dagestan and Chechnya, they like kind of they different. They a little bit more friendly, especially with guests.
Hmm.
I believe that's, for example, my grandmom, she's from Ural, and is in winter time. Like if you go to the party, everybody stay for tonight in the same spot, because if you leave, especially if you're drunk and you leave, the more likely you won't made it home because it's too cold. Yeah, and that's why people like very open, like they completely different. It's like back in like Ural or Siberia, it's very normal if you stay in a like some random people house. It's like normal, it's not something like wow, unbelievable. Same thing with in Chechnya. I even seen a video on YouTube. If you go to like random guy from like in Chechnya, like you never seen him before, and you say, I'm apologize, I don't have any money, and I don't have a like place to stay tonight. Can I stay in your house? And more likely they say, yeah, okay, sure, you can stay there. And most of the time, if you see like Chechen guys beard, you're like, oh, Allah Akbar, and you think like, but they're not like this. You see,
Yeah.
I don't know how does it work, but it is what it
No,
is.
I understand what you mean. And the thing is, if you went around and asked Americans, like, how many of you have been to Russia? I mean, you're gonna get like 0.001% are gonna say like I've been to Russia. But then you have a high percentage feels like they know everything that's going on in the world, which is just, it's a very sad thing. Like, and then you've got, because right now with everything going on in this world, nobody has a clue. Like nobody has a clue. You're just getting clips off of the internet and little news media, whatever idea they want to push down you. And so, but then you've got people, nothing bothers me more than when you're at a UFC fight or watching a UFC fight and you've got the American getting cheered and then you've got a Russian guy getting booed, and it's just like, what are we doing right now? Like it does nothing more than divide us even further, and it just makes me really bummed out.
Honestly, I don't feel it that much. For example, my fight in Columbus, I
Hmm.
remember everybody supported me like so, but I was so like surprised and excited after that. After that, even I started love America even more. because there like Columbus happened almost right after like all this crazy stuff going on, like
Yeah.
right after, and when I walk out, people like support me a lot. Even after I got lost, people booing my opponent because he just keep wrestling non-stop, and the people supported me. Someone asked my T-shirt, like that was so cool. I mean, I was
It's
like
'cause
at
you
home.
That's because you strike, though. People,
Yeah.
I think that overrides the American patriotism, because I'm telling you, I was at my first UFC fight that I've ever been to last week. I was in at the or whenever, last week at the Orlando card, and even there, like you experience it there with like the Tai Tuivasa, Sergey Spivak, like or Sergey Palkovich fight. Like you experience like, and I'm like, wait, these are the same people who live in my city, because like I just can't stand it. I'm like, like the USA's US. I'm like, what are we doing?
They usually do that when like they heavily favor one guy. Like they all just knew Thai, so they assume.
Right.
Like, I think it's messed up. They did the same thing with Wei Li Zhang and Rose Namajunas. They started like booing Wei Li just because she's from China. It had nothing to do with her. And she's awesome. I don't know, it's just, it's weird.
It just seems very like narrow-minded.
You know, it's maybe also depends which part of USA too, because
Right.
I never seen that, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, I have seen it on TV a few times, and I remember actually a very funny thing. I used to be in Ryan Bader and Emelianenko fight in Los Angeles, and when Emelianenko did his walkout, someone was right next to me. And like saying crazy bad thing. That was actually pretty tough for me. Like I'm usually like very friendly person, and I'm not getting like any now. Finally now when I turn like 30, like if you're saying something, I possibly can not care. Like, but that was kind of too much, especially because unexpected. Because was so friendly. I was around my friends. And these guys are screaming crazy stuff about like Russia, about like Fedor, and after Fedor lost in the first second, everybody blew up, like everybody is so happy, and my guy won too. Because I was there because of my friend Ryan Laley. He invited me, and later we sat in his room in a hotel, and this guy who used to scream crazy stupid shit about Russia, it was his friend also. And when he saw me, he started saying like, "Oh, bro, I love Russians. I love Russia." It's making me so fucking silly. Yeah. Why people doing that? I don't know. But maybe they get overexcited, because honestly, there's still everything about fighting is kind of like a little bit still like, wild. It's kind of wild.
Yes.
If you see people, like, sometimes they wild, they can't control themselves. But I have seen only two examples in this world where people almost not really care, like who gonna win, who not. The first place, of course, is Thailand. They always for good fight. I believe they're still patriotic and they wanna Thai guy win. But they very open. If it's not happened, they okay too. Like I mean, they support. Yeah. They always for good fight. And I never seen, but I heard in Dagestan the same thing. Like if you go wrestle to Dagestan, like they usual okay. Like if better guy win, they okay. But if Dagestanian team go to other part of Russia and they fighting, they always like until the end they supporting those guys. It's like it's just I don't feel like it's something really bad. It makes sense. Like you support your guy. Like maybe there's no reason to boo other guy, but as long as you support your guy, I don't feel it's something bad. It's okay. It's not bothering me at all.
Well, good. I'm glad it's not bothering you. It does bother me. It just makes me it makes me embarrassed. Like as like from Florida, because I'm from Florida, and I'm just like, these stupid Floridians. It just bothers me. It embarrasses me. But so I was watching earlier today. Anthony Smith, Laura Sanko, and somebody else attempting to do the Slava Claus dance, and it was on YouTube, and that was pretty cool because I couldn't see what they were doing, and they were just trying to like basically get your moves down, and that just had my mind was going wild because I was just like, what are these moves? Because like I don't know if you know, but I'm blind, and I lost my sight when I was 11, so I haven't seen anybody dance for like 20-something years now. And they're discussing and going into your dance moves, and I'm just like, sounds like this guy's got some moves. How did you learn how to dance? Like, is it just something like you just feel it in your soul, and you got no shame, and you just let it go?
Yeah, that's actually something that I always respond. Like, I have no idea how to dance. I don't know even what I'm doing most of times. Like,
that's me. That's me
just
also.
Emotions. Yeah, just emotions. Like, but the move what they try to do, it's very like, I'm not sure if it's simple or not, but it's like classic movie. It's Russian Ukrainian national dance. Some of them call them kazachok, some of them gapak. It's like kind of squat, extend your leg dance. When you squat and extend one of the leg.
Okay. Okay. So it does require, I mean, what you're describing. Yeah. It sounds like it has some athleticism behind it as well.
yeah. A little bit of that. I think it's called in English pistol, the exercise when you squat on one leg.
Oh, a pistol squat?
Yeah. Kind of like pistol squat, but like, you do it like a little faster.
Fast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And switching the legs.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Well, I can do some pistol squats, so maybe I'm going to attempt this now. That's awesome. Yeah, it's so okay. So because I'm a musician, and I love to, like, when I'm in a club or whatever, and I'm feeling good, I definitely like to dance. But I always am just I know that I'm not doing what everybody else in the room is doing, and there's no way of me, like, because nowadays they have all these dances for specific songs. Like, you'll be like, oh, can you do the WAP, or can you do the what? I'm like, wait, what are you talking about? And then just like it's the same dance from the video, and I'm like, I'm never going to be able to catch on to this. So I'm always doing my own thing as well. So I understand that, but that's cool. I'm definitely going to start to try to incorporate the pistol squat fast Slava Claus dance. I'm gonna attempt this at some point.
I actually really like to watch and dance. Like, I really like it. I'm enjoying to see like how people dancing and how they can adapt their body on music. It's so cool. Like, it's crazy. Some of them like it started actually funny. It started from just Instagram's short videos where like people doing some crazy things on music, and I become almost fan. Maybe one more reason why I love Valentina that much.
Yeah. Her dance is awesome at the end. Awesome.
What kind of music do you like?
I'm actually like, I love everything. I love all music. Yeah, I believe if one of the I'm always pronounce it wrong, but psychologist.
Oh, psychologist. Yeah.
took my list of music. They probably give me some diagnosis because it's so different,
really?
Like, so different. Yeah, it's like I'm actually really love country.
Oh, cool.
Music. I really love country music, but I wonder if it's one of the reasons because I can't understand it. Like, any hip hop music, it's impossible for me. Like, I'm almost like I didn't get it. Even if I understand the words, I can't put it together. Just I can't.
I don't think you're alone in that one. It's just so fast.
Yeah, it's fast, and also too much slang or some words which they say the way which you have to understand the idea, but not the straight meaning. But I didn't get the idea. That's why I feel
all right.
stupid.
Well, I was born here, and I don't understand it either. And like, for example, like Post Malone, like he'll have a song that'll come out, and I'm like, oh man, I'm just not cool enough anymore. Like, I don't even understand the lingo, and I'm not that old. Like, I'm 32. Like, what happened? Did I just miss but like, seriously, like, I don't understand the lingo. Like you said, like, this means something else that has to do with this reference. And it's just like, oh man, like I can't keep up. It's just too much.
Yes, I see what you
But
mean.
no, I understand. Like, country's good. Like, it's got a nice tune to a country song. I was recently in Nashville on a little family trip, and the talent in Nashville is just it's like you could just take out your phone and record them and be like, okay, this person belongs on the radio. And there's people that sound like that, like on every block. It's crazy how talented people are in Nashville.
It's interesting because I have seen already from 3 different person plus you about Tennessee. So many good things. Now it seems for me like I can't wait to see that. For example, one guy he from Brazil. He actually UFC fighter too, Ricardo. Ramos. He's awesome. Yeah, and he told me like he traveled in the USA like from west to east all the way, and he said his best place was Tennessee. He said that was his like the most beautiful place. I'm like, what? So interesting. I never heard about that. First time I ever heard about Tennessee that way. All I knew about Nashville is I thought it's if I'm not wrong, it's Elvis Presley from there, right?
There's his like whole I don't know, I forgot what it's called. What is it called? The Green I can't believe I'm blanking on that. But yeah, he is from Tennessee.
Graceland.
Where have you been in the U.S. besides Columbus and Vegas and California?
I've been in Florida. Actually, in Miami, I've been I fought there twice, and twice I had like trip, some trips, but I mean, not for that long. No, wait a second. No, Miami I was 3 times, and once I was in Tampa. How pronounce it wrong? Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, you're perfect.
And I also been in Oklahoma, in Texas. Actually, my first really American Christmas was in Texas, where I have learned Texas people best in the world. And now I'm scared to not saying that because they all have guns. But that was it's funny, but that was my favorite Christmas because the first of all, that was my first like real American Christmas when I was invited, and I lived in like very classic, I'm not sure if it's middle class or a little bit higher, American house. I was invited by my friends, my very first American friend. He's from Texas, Andrew Parker. Yeah, he invited me, and like all his family took care of me. That was so cool. They gave me so many gifts. Like I was out of money, out of family, but they made me feel like I'm one of those kids. That was kind of cool. All Christmas was about me, and there was probably only one single Christmas in my life like that. And that was so cool. I have been in rodeo in Fort Worth, and we went to some museum, something about space. That was a really cool trip. Yeah, Texas probably was one of the best I ever trip. Also Kansas, I have been in Kansas, and South Dakota, Sioux Falls. I can't say that, sorry, but that was a beautiful place. It's funny because right before I went there, one guy told me, "Oh, they're gonna show you the worst part of country," but it is not. The South Dakota, the place where I was, that was really cool. I love it.
It's a sleeper spot.
Yeah, it's a lot of those places. Like, I mean, people talk about like Wyoming and all. Like, those places are so nice. Like, to live there would be really a good place to live. Like Montana, like you get a lot of land out there. It's not too expensive. Yeah, I would love to be out there. But so I mean, you were obviously having. I mean, did you just reach the pinnacle of kickboxing, and that's how you just had to transition to something else? Like, why did you make I mean, because coming from Russia over here, I mean, it must have been. I mean, that's a sacrifice. That's a large sacrifice to make, to leave your family for a year. What was the deciding factor for that? It's
kind of interesting. It's maybe even a little bit funny, but technically, I feel when my daughter was born. No, wait a second. I step back. Okay, sorry. I'm apologizing. Okay, like this. I used to fight forever for fun. Like I used to love it, like psychopath. Now I almost hate fighting, but I used to love it. Like seriously, the like I used to love it so bad. Like I kept watching that, and for me, to, there was so easy to find any reason to. I even enjoyed to go to other. That's how I lived in Moscow, because in Moscow I didn't have my own gym, and I used to go to any gyms just for sparring. Just for sparring, I used to enjoy that, and everybody knew I come because I was already kind of a little bit not famous, but everybody knew I'm world champ, and everybody tried to kick my ass really bad, and I used to enjoy that because like that was every time like a real fight. But when my daughter was born, I realized like I can't fight just for fun. I need the money, and in kickboxing there's no money. I keep trying, but there's no money, and I started looking. Okay, now what's pretty famous? It's MMA, and I just follow very simple rule. Like if you want to reach to Canada, you have to point to the moon. Like I say, okay, like what the best in MMA? It's UFC. Okay, I should go to UFC. That's it. And one of my friends, he was a big fan of Uriah Faber, and he told me like long. There was long conversation, and he explained to me like I have zero choice but Team Alpha Male, and I just trusted him, and also I had few friends who already did it, who already made it in California, and like okay, I'm probably gonna try. Why not? And that's it. I just because I wanna transition to make money, because I even at that time I already thought, okay, for how long I could fight anymore? Like for how long? How long is gonna be my fight career? I need to leave something for my family. Yes, and that was my plan. And I'm not sure if you ever heard the Uriah's interview. Like he said exactly how it was. Yeah, I just show up. Uriah, I'm Slava. Can I fight? That's it. That's how it worked.
Dude, it's so funny, and it's just beautiful, because then he's like, oh wait, this guy can also bring something to the table for my for what I have here, because your striking background. So it's cool how people like. When a team is put together, everybody's helping each other out with something,
everything about Uriah, to me, is also has some like life joke, because pretty much everything what I was dreaming about, he has, and I didn't know that before I met him, because I know nothing about him. I knew nothing about him, until I came, and we become already friends. I start watching his fights, everything. The first time I really start watching his fights like carefully, when I used to help him to prepare for his first fight after retiring, like with Ricky Simon.
Yeah.
That was first time when I started watching his old fights. Before that, I didn't really watch it. And I never really follow MMA that much. I have seen only like my favorite was the first MMA guy was Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
And after that, like almost nobody, maybe a little bit of Fedor, just because everybody watched him in Russia. And later was Anderson Silva, Brazilian, the Spider.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little bit of John Jones, a little bit of Nick Diaz. Oh, and that's probably not even Nick Diaz.
Right.
That's it.
I wasn't a fan at all until basically a little bit like the pandemic is kind of what started my whole thing down like the UFC journey for me. I was just every single time before, it was just any sporting event, I was like, why am I going to sit in front of this? Like I can't see what's on the screen. Like this is just not for me. But like I don't know, like I grew up doing jiu-jitsu, then I did some kickboxing as well, and I've always loved competition, and I've always viewed like myself as just like I'm just a born fighter, but just somebody who can't just do it professionally. And but at the same time, like there's something that I identify with fighters and like the whole fighting spirit and whatever. Like I don't know, there's something in the personality of fighters that I feel just a closeness to, because it just, I don't know, since I lost my eyesight when I was 11, and I just feel like everything has been this like, in a positive sense, like I fight for a good day. Like I fight for, waking up, going to the gym every single day, just like positive energy, like love, like just good things to and getting better at things. I think improving on skills is what provides happiness for all of us. And I think, there's something to be said for, the confidence that jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and just being able to just have like that, strength base over your body, like to be able to do a pistol squat dance. Like it definitely gives you like, because a lot of people would go for that dance and just fall apart because it requires a skill. Like, so, but yeah, for me, like I got into fighting and pretty much when the pandemic started and the UFC was just the only thing like that was entertaining on television on like the weekends and just started watching it with like friends. And then like I started like putting like, $2-3 on like the fighters who I would want to win, like through like a little betting site. And that was like, for me, I was like, oh, I'm more into it if I'm invested in it, then I'm a little bit more into it because I can't watch what's going on. So I'm just listening to the commentators, like, telling me what's going on. But then that started me going down like the rabbit hole of like, oh, I'm now breaking down fighters like afterwards, like listening to YouTube people breaking it down to really get like a full like idea of what's going on. And because it like I said, I get very invested in the personalities of fighters because it's just so, man, everybody has a story. And like, I find that fighters' stories are just more in line with something that inspires me, which to me, like, I think is, we all need things to inspire us. And for me, it's like, I don't know, I'm not ever inspired by somebody who's just like, not living their dreams, sitting on their ass. Like those kinds of things just never inspire me. And if there's one thing fighters are doing is they're chasing their dreams and never sitting on their ass. So fighters just their stories, their perseverance, their willingness to get up after a loss, and like the adrenaline chasing like that high of like the wins and everything. It's so in line with everything that I'm about that for me, I was just like, oh, cool, found my sport, I'm sucked in, I can now, which is still funny because I'm still not able to watch them, but I'll sit in front of the TV for 6 hours on a Saturday and literally watch every single UFC card from the start to finish. And it's very spiritual for me. Like it's become like a religion for me.
That's cool. It's actually because technically it's just what you said. It's for you. It's kind of like every day. It's little fighting, like little wrestling.
Yeah.
Because everything you do for whatever you have to do, it's take a little bit more than for any other people. Like
it does. Yeah.
People
for sure.
never really appreciate this part, but it's I would say like thank you because I have sometimes hard time to motivate myself. Just like I feel like it's not that inspiring for me anymore. Just because I remember when I was a kid and first time ever when I decided I want to be a world champ. It's funny. I still remember this. It was like around 2002, something like this. I watched a movie with Will Smith, Ali, about Muhammad Ali. Yeah. And like I watched it and I'm like, oh shit, like I want to be a world champ. I didn't even know what's going on there really. Like I didn't like that was just a movie for me. And later step by step, like for me that was like just like I said, like as a religion, and that was so cool. But step by step, like when it's become like a job, which is it's going to happen with everybody. It's normal. I don't feel like it's something like really wrong. Sometimes I forgot how it's really like it's cool and it's so important. And the thing what really helped me it's just see how fans see that, like especially people like you, because
right.
I would say like you a little special. Like you can't, just like you said, you can't even watch it, but you already become a fan. And thank you, because it's inspiring me. Like I feel like whoa, I'm doing something like really cool, and I never appreciate it.
You really are, and thank you, and you're welcome. But I'm very passionate about it. I'm very engaged with all of it. But what you just said, I can truly relate to, because that's how I am with music. Because I started playing the guitar after I lost my sight when I was 13, and all I wanted to do was be the best guitar player I could possibly be. And I wanted to be the fastest, and it really became like I want to be the best shredding blind guitarist who has ever lived. And like that was my goal. Like, and honestly, like I think I'm pretty much there. But at the same time, I really do. But at the same time, then you start to get to, okay, cool. Like now this is my industry. Like, cool. I'm in bands, I'm touring, I'm writing my own music. Now I'm in the competitiveness of, we gotta get people to listen to our show, like, listen to our songs, come to our shows, like the whole thing. And it gets you a little bit jaded to the whole like experience, because now you're not just chasing your dream. Now you're there. Now you've arrived, and now you're dealing with the politics of everything, the bullshit of all of it. Because I mean, my band, it was our dream to be on tour, and then you get on tour, and now you're dealing with managers and record labels and really not so great people, and it can really suck the joy out of a lot of it. And sometimes you have to step back. Sometimes you need somebody to just tell you a little appreciation of like, hey, your song really touched me and like, affected my life, like whatever that is that makes you just say, you know what, I'm really being an asshole. This really is a cool thing that I'm doing, because what you're doing is really cool. I mean, I'll be the first person to tell you that if I could see, I would step in a ring or an octagon right now, probably get my ass kicked, but I would. It's just such a beautiful thing that I think you're only going to grow from the experience. I think everybody should have the experience of like what it feels like to suffer in a physical sense, like getting hit, like hitting somebody, like just knowing your own limitations and trying to push through them. Like I think I think we would all just be stronger people. Like if we all just knew. I mean, I kick a lot of things just by walking into things, like my bed, all the time. So like my shins are pretty calloused at this point, and I'm just like, that is one of the worst pains that you can ever experience. And the amount of people who just have like little sensitive shins, because they like, as soon as they even get touched by anything, they're just like, ow, like. But kicking things hurts. And I mean, I think we all grew up as kids like punching, kicking, like. And we had more, mobility of our hips and being able to, and we lose that. Like as we grow up, like people just sit on their ass and just lose the ability to use our bodies. And I think that, it is a very cool thing. I think it is. Fighters do inspire me. Their stories I think are beautiful, and I think that the way that they tell them is. You don't hear that. I mean, if you're watching a American football game and it like goes and flashes through the players, it just like literally like their pictures will pop up on the screen. It'll say their name and what college they went to, and that's it. You don't ever learn about people. And then it's just we all need people's stories to get us excited, motivated, out of our own heads, because. The thing is, we do this to ourselves. We're always like, oh, I'm not where I'm supposed to be in life. I'm failing. And we can really just bask in suffering and lie in bed and make it just all about you, when we're all in this thing together, this thing called life. And sometimes it's going well for us, sometimes it's not. But the thing is, I think we're all feeling it in a similar way. So I just love the vulnerability and the honesty of fighters in general.
Yeah, I agree. But also it's a little easier. There's not that many fighters as football players. Could you imagine if you gotta be like put each single football player's story is gonna take forever. That's why probably they're not doing that.
It is exactly why, but the thing is, like, I'd probably be more into it if we got a little bit more personality in it.
But I believe probably we still have some, because I never really follow football. Where I'm from, we call football, which you call soccer.
Right.
Yeah, but I think even me, I used to watch the movie. I forgot how it calls, especially in English. I have no idea, but. There was a movie about retiring football players who has a problem with head because overheating. Like when they do this move, when they hit the head, like even with homeless, it still doesn't help that much. And some people get some issues with brain, and they show a lot of personalities. and I knew some like stars, and later you can follow. I mean, it's still a little bit like that, but just not that open, not that easy to find. Because every time when you see fighters, it's like one personality against other personality. But when it's football, it's many players, it's coach, it's management, it's so many things together. That's why you probably follow only one, the most famous guy. Kind of like in soccer, it's like Messi, like what's his name, Cristiano Ronaldo. Some like the biggest name, like Pelé, whatever, who
Right.
Maradona. You follow them because this name is so big.
Yeah, I think for me as somebody who, I mean, I'm a pretty big fan. Like I know fan is the right word to say for what I am, but like the people who are the biggest names in the UFC honestly annoy me the most. Like, so I don't think it's like almost the same, because I'm like the people who get millions and millions of clicks on their videos genuinely bother me. Like I feel like it's fake. I feel like it's this content, like new social media world that I don't know. I like an old school kind of approach to things sometimes than this thing that's like, we live in a new world where it's just this instant gratification where somebody comes in and it's just like everybody gets on the bandwagon with them, and people are cheering for something that they don't even know why. I truly don't understand how some like this blowing up overnight kind of thing, and then just taking over. I mean, like Patty. Like Patty is, for me, I just truly, you got him coming into America and everybody's singing the "Oh Patty the Baddie" song, and then they're booing Jared Gordon, and it just, I don't know. It really, it's an interesting new world that we live in, that all is happening faster than our brains can process, because it's all happening on our phones and TikTok and YouTube and Twitter, and it's something we can't even understand because it's going so fast.
I'm glad you said it, because that was just my theory. I thought like a lot of people ask me for some reason, like like I'm some like I work with Dana Strait, and I know what's going
Right.
on in UFC politics, but they keep asking me like, oh, why is UFC doing this? Like why they judging that bad? And I go to long story. The first of all, the UFC and judges not connected. Right. It's athletic commission, and they can't. Actually, the idea is so cool, because technically UFC can't control the commission, but the other part of that, because they can't control the commission, they're not sure how professional is this commission. And I have seen like some judges like so dumb as idiots. It's like they really have no fucking idea what they're talking about. They barely seen few fights. That's it. Like, and somehow maybe that's because they're fans and they just working in this commission, they become a judges. I don't know how does it work. I don't think they even really understand exactly the way how they're supposed to judge. You're supposed to judge the control, you're supposed to judge the punches, you like but also I feel like because UFC start growing so fast and it took more and more people. At the beginning there was the old school fans,
Right.
just like you said, and old school fans, it's like the people who like personality, the people who like the fair play. Mm-hmm. And this is cool. That's what excited me too. The fans like you and the old school fans, they excite me, they motivate me too. Like when I feel like the people who like they might not even reach, but they try support fighters, they always on the fighter side. Oh, why you pay like for fighters that not enough, like you have to pay more, all this thing. Right. And the other part, when like UFC start growing, it's a new fans, and new fans, they follow only for what cool right now.
I know.
It's like like pop, like kind of like pop music,
the
like
casuals.
Yeah, this is cool. Oh, have you heard about McGregor? Yeah, McGregor, best of the best of the best of the best. Just because everybody talking about him, and everybody start following. And what I believe when it's happened first time, well, the UFC get it, and now they start work for both. But you see, like on honor to UFC, they not forget the old school fans too. They're trying to balance it, but it's hard. It's hard to balance it. And I believe that I still believe UFC not doing this crazy judges on purpose. It's just like It's might be scenes like that, but I believe it's more in our heads. Oh, it's conspiracy. Like they took they give O'Malley just because he's like Dana boy
Right.
and everybody hate Russian Peter Yan. I don't know. I believe Dana love Peter Yan because he's super exciting. He's
Yeah.
super exciting fight, and I'm 100% sure Dana White doesn't give any fuck who is from, like who's from, like the Slava from Russia, or Peter Yan from Russia. He doesn't care at all. I believe all he
No, I
needs
agree.
is money. He's a businessman, and that's why I
I
love
agree. Did you watch UFC 282?
282. Wait a second, the first
Yesterday.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, I watched.
So what did you think now that we're talking about it? What did you think? Because first of all, no judges were even involved in the entire card until the co-main event, which was so nice because you didn't have to deal. It was TKO submission, TKO. It just literally was going down. No decisions until the co-main event.
I would say this is really. It sounds cool. It's a great idea, but this is not sport. This is just wild fighting, which is cool. But in this case, you probably have to pay fighters so much. Like you couldn't build a company as UFC like that. Like because could you imagine like when you always fight like that, like just till the end, just till TKO,
Right.
like it's gonna injure you so bad. It takes so much your life strength. And it's cool. It sounds cool. Like that's why the Grand Prix, like in Japan, was so famous. Remember K1 Grand Prix, like
Yeah.
Pride. That was so cool. That's why, because it's like the idea of PFL doing kind of like that. The idea of if you want to be a champ, you have to pass all guys, and this sometimes you have to do it the same night. And this is really cool. And when no judge, it sounds cool. Like oh, no judge is just who gonna survive, but. When UFC become as a sport, now it's completely different. When it's sport, it's supposed to have rules. It's supposed to have like all the stuff what they have right now. And I'm not sure if it's bad or good. I would say it's probably more good side because it's better for fighters. It's just a sport now. But the first one, there was like some just wild show, just wild, crazy, almost freak show.
But how did you feel watching Patty versus Jared? How did you feel even before the fight? Like, did you think, how did you feel about Patty at this point in his career? Like his skill set going up against Jared. Walk me through how you felt about the whole thing.
Okay, can I start? Please don't blame me, but I haven't seen last UFC.
Oh, you didn't? Okay, cool. No, you're fine.
Yeah, and but I would say that everything about Petty I like. I like him. I tell you why.
Yeah.
Because he's a very good character, and when I see the people, he brought so many fans to UFC, which maybe some people never even interested in before that. I believe he useful, and he actually not bad fighter. He's a good fighter, and I would like the. I have two things. I have two reasons to love him. The first of all, he's exciting, very nice guy. I like him, how he look, like his accent, everything about him.
Yeah.
I like, except when he's talking shit about people. This I don't like, but it's part of show. Maybe I get it. Okay, I like what he brought the fans, and the second reason why I like him. I still hope in one day I can fight him and make a lot of money.
I hope you can too.
Yeah.
I think, first of all, I think it would be a very bad fight for Patty if you fought him, especially after last night. He leaves his chin out like it's part of his whole game plan. Is his chin is just ready for the taking.
Yeah, I see. But you know, his jiu-jitsu actually really good, and he seems for me. I believe he's really strong, like just physically.
Yeah, you could see it in the fight.
Yeah, I think he's pretty big. He's big, right?
Yeah, Jared looked undersized. Jared's also kind of small for 55. But you could see, like, in some of the clinch exchanges, except for the third round where they kind of stalled out, he was just kind of out-muscling him. But that chin is definitely a problem. He keeps it right up there.
Yeah. This part I also like because the stand-up of Petty, it's kind of wild, which is actually make it harder for you, for technical guy. I would say I like to fight more technical guys than wild guys. But the good thing about wild guys, the chin always so high, and you always have a spot to punish. That's part I like.
Yeah.
In usual all knockouts, when you knock out the wild guy, it's always looks so cool. Like they usually drop the face forward, something like this.
The most wild ones for sure.
That's got to be the most fun is just getting that good feeling knockout of a wild guy.
Yeah, you know, especially when it might be a little bit psycho feeling. It's maybe not good, but it's one of the reasons why I love the body knockouts so much, because you see the strong guy who ready to kill you, and you just push the button, and he's like, oh, like, it's so cool. I don't know how to explain, but it's even like, you see, I have a goose skin right now. It's so cool. It's just like, it's one of the. I have two things which I really like. The first one, when you push the liver button, and second, it's like when you feel like guy did like his best moves, but it doesn't work for him, and you start read the scare, the fear in his eyes, and you see like how you suck his soul and his energy. Like I had it a lot in kickboxing, because in kickboxing one of my favorite tactic was I start slow, make them miss a lot, make them do the best moves, and like step by step punish them for each mistake. Like, boom, they missed it, boom, I punish him. Not too hard, a little bit. And as they start stepping back, now you my guy. Now I never let you go. And especially I used to use the ropes very well. Like I had a lot of tricks on the ropes. In octagon, like I don't have it, and it's a little problem. But the square of ring and the thing what the fact what you can use the resistance of ropes. I used to use it a lot. I love it.
When you're in the ring, how like cognizant are you? How are you? Because I know some guys say they don't remember anything in the fight. Or are you pretty?
Oh yeah. Like it's maybe as more experience you have, you remember more things, more stuff. Yeah. Like when you control the fight, you remember everything. Like I remember I used to fight in World Championship, and I was able to see from the like not see but hear from crowd who exactly screaming and what.
Wow.
Like, yeah, that was well. It's also it's great feeling when you control the fight. When you control the fight, you kind of feel a little bit like superhuman. The few times I had like clearly like I felt like people was in slow motion against me. When you watch it later on video, you can't see that, but when you fight, for you they on slow motion. That's how cool this feeling when you control the fight.
Was stepping into the UFC, into the MMA world, just did that like, was it basically like starting over? Because it sounded like you were at a very confident, like comfortable level with your kickboxing skills. So did this almost like reopen the butterflies and the fear like backstage before going out there, because you're just like you're walking out into the unknown in a new world?
Yeah, that's still extremely tough for me. Extremely tough.
Yeah.
The few reasons. The first, it's because I just can't do my stuff that much because of wrestling, and I know people can wrestle me all the time, and this is kind of like it's almost like at least 50% of my striking flying away, because I can't use because the striking, it's not just punches and kicks. Like I used to use a lot of pressure, level changes, are completely different, which does not work in MMA today for me, because they rest right away. But the thing what I like, the first of all, because everything new, like it's exciting every time, especially when it's something new you learn and it start working in wrestling or jiu-jitsu. This is so cool. It's such a great feeling. Like I feel like I restart my life, not even fighting career, because like I start learning so many things which I never heard before. And for me, I think very helpful. The idea is like when I go to MMA fight, for me it's kind of like street fight with rules. Like I just want to finish the guy. The main, I want to finish him. My plan always, yes, I want like in general nothing touching me, and I put all my power on my guy. But I still want to finish all the time. And it seems like in MMA, it's so many ways to finish the guy, and I like this idea. Just like flawless victory. That's my favorite. Like boom, boom. That's what I really like
So
about
how
Martin.
much of your training is spent like fixing those holes in the game with the wrestling, and like is it most like 70% now? Like is just spent wrestling, or
Yeah,
even more than that?
70-80% I would say. Yeah, I train a lot. And that's why I was so upset last fight. Last fight almost destroyed me. I had so many issues. Like I feel like I Triple G, I think he's
Yeah.
a nickname Drama Show, but I heard a lot from people who familiar with him. He's not Drama Show at all, but I'm for sure Drama Show. Like I love drama. Like everything was so perfect. After my debut, I lived in a dream, and I ruined everything because I I think I can't disconnect myself from what's going on around me. That's just a huge problem of like what I have like issue. Right before my Columbus fight, my son getting so bad, like so sick, and went to the emergency for 18 hours.
Oh
And
wow.
I was with him, and he was just like a little infant. That was so scary, and I barely like. It took me like at least 3 days of training because I haven't slept. I was in stress, and I was training. I didn't even think about fight, and right like in the week when I get better, this crazy things happened like with Russia, Ukraine, all this stuff, and I'm like, no way, and I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks straight. I actually was that close to cancel the fight. Was that close? Like what the fuck? Why it keep happening? And finally, I just said, okay,
Right.
no, I have to stay strong, like keep training. And it is what it is. I did mistakes, and I paid for that. And right before the last fight, my whole family keep getting sick, back and forth, and my I broke my car so bad, like so bad, and like for some reason, like I was like, I believe it's not, it's just not professional when you can't get away from that, when it's still sitting in your head, and that's unfortunately that's what happened to me. Like I couldn't just like focus
Let
only
it
on
go.
my stuff and forget about anything else. I believe Bernard Hopkins said, when I'm in fight camp, even if a president call me, I won't answer. Like, no, sorry, like I'm in fight camp, and that's what something what I really need to learn, like year ago.
So,
But well, I hope I get better now.
so with the wrestling that these guys are just, it's pretty clear their game plan is to get you down. Do you feel like you're getting out skilled, or are you pretty aware of what you could do to get out of situations, and it's not happening in the fight?
After last fight, I realized I'm just doing something wrong in my fight camp. I really need to talk more with my coaches. Fine, like I actually start working with Danny a lot last call, and he have some new stuff for me, which is like new old and new very very old stuff. Maybe for this stuff, what I'm doing right now, I have to start from that in the very very beginning, because it's funny. Maybe you won't believe me, but I'm actually not bad wrestler.
Right.
Like if you take just the wrestling, I can wrestle, and my jiu-jitsu not bad at all. Like I can stay against like really good jiu-jitsu guys, but when we trying to put this all together in MMA, like something doesn't work for me. It is like I I'm very close to understand what exactly, but still working on it. Still working on it. That's why I'm not really on rush to take another fight, because like I really want to surprise everybody. I really want to put the big show. I feel bad like when people paying and watching and cheering for me, and I couldn't fight just because some dumbass idiot hold me. It's man, honestly, it's the worst feeling ever.
Right.
Like this is probably worse for me than knockout. Knockout is something like when you very strong warrior and you're not scared and someone shoot you and you just okay I'm dying. But when someone is holding you, it's maybe like I don't know. It's kind of like somebody like roping you and doing whatever they want, and you couldn't do anything. Like it's terrible. Like
Yeah.
it's terrible feeling.
Yeah, because I've thought about that. Like there's other strikers like you that are super proficient and they keep getting taken down in fights, and you know that they're working on it in the gym, but for whatever reason, just it doesn't translate in the fight. But so I've always wondered what's the disconnect, you know? Again, I guess it's just mixing it together with what you're already great at.
Yeah, but you see the last fight. I mean, just as excuses, I would say that's what Uriah told me. Like because I get away from very bad positions on the ground, and he said, Slava, like, don't worry too much. Like we're doing right thing because he has met this guy. Like I believe when this guy, my last opponent was 12 years old, something like this in a wrestling camp. This guy used to wrestle forever. And I barely wrestled for last like what 5. You know what make me feel easier about that? It's like the fact what my MMA debut was in 2019, and I haven't fight all year after that because of like I don't know why, but nobody took a fight to me. And technically, since 2020, when the pandemic started, I started fighting a little bit, and from 2020 at the end of 2021 I already was in UFC. And like I'm probably doing right thing. I have to keep going, working harder. And I really like what I built it up on interview. I said there's something which I made it up for interview, but now it's something what I really believe. Like doesn't matter how like hard you're working, it doesn't mean what you're going to have a success. But if you're not working at all, you can be 100% sure there's no success ahead. Yeah. And that's why, okay, I have to work my ass off. That's all I have.
Just trust in the process.
Here's a question, because I know that like America does a lot of wrestling for when kids are young and everything, and I don't think you were doing that because you were kickboxing. But how much is strength and conditioning a part of kickboxing when you were growing up?
Well, I think that's also issue of my hometown school. My hometown school was so good, like so good. I was a 6th world champ. Now I think we have like 8 or 9.
Oh wow!
Same gym, yes. And I think that's something we never did because we had like very good school, very good technique, very good. How to say that right? Like, you know, the structure of training, like what we're doing. For example, Monday, Wednesday, Friday we do sparring. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday we do drills, but live drills, and that was very good to get the technique and become a like tough guy, because every Monday, Wednesday, Friday when I just started training at my hometown gym, a new one, like I was almost crying every time, like because like I didn't get, like, I worked so hard, but why I couldn't beat this guy? Why I couldn't beat this guy? That was so tough. I used to drive all the way from my neighborhood to the downtown, and that took me like at least 1 hour and a half every day. I went there and I was like, why I couldn't beat these guys? Now I understand the reason why, because I was 16 years old guy, and the guys was almost 30, and they were like world champs. But I never thought about, no, I have to beat them. If I work with them, like, I have to beat them. And this helped me to build the right mentality. Like it's helped me to become a great fighter. But I think what cost me a lot of injuries, what we never really work enough on the strength and conditioning.
I mean, even something as simple as grip strength. Like, think about how much, like, even just doing like farmer's carries, like, makes wrestlers so much stronger. Like, as a kid, like, just carrying weights, and like heavy weight too. It has to be heavy. But like, that is something that I'm sure wasn't like a huge emphasis in kickboxing.
Yeah. Like some people did, like, not from my hometown school, but because I used to be in national team for pretty long, and I have seen people who work on the strength a lot, and I see that these people very successful. They become very successful, and also one of the main reasons which I like every single young fighter I would recommend work on the strength a lot because it's how
Hmm.
you can avoid injuries. It's like when you work on your strength and
Yes.
stretching and mobility. There's two things which can avoid a lot of injuries.
I'm not the strongest guy, but I do consider myself to be very flexible, and it's not something that I had as a kid. It's something that like cuz I'm very into fitness, and my mobility is pretty freakish. Like it's kind of funny cuz I couldn't even like touch my toes when I was like even like 5 years ago. But now like I do like straddle ups like where I can just like pop up from the ground. I can do like L holds from the ground, like just like really like abstract, like unconventional stuff. And but it all comes down to mobility, flexibility, and but really like you hit the nail on the head. It's injury prevention is what it all is, and all that's doing is yeah, cool. You're like no, I'm not the strongest squatter or bencher, but like I definitely feel like I'm going to grow up and get older and not have a bunch of injuries.
Yeah. And you know what? Also, if we talk about the weights, I would say, especially if you're not like professional athlete, but
Yeah.
even if you're professional athlete, I would say the best it's gymnastic and acrobatic. Nothing better working with your own
Viacheslav,
weight.
Viacheslav, that's my favorite form of training is gymnastics.
Yeah.
Like with the rings and everything. That's my bread and butter. That's what I love to do at the gym is gymnastics. Like skin the cats where you're doing like flips with the rings because it's all like strength over your own body weight. And like that to me is the most you get the most out of it, and it's really the most impressive and I think satisfying mentally to be able to get through one of those kind of training sessions. I think is it's definitely my favorite. I feel.
And the idea of controlling your own body, it's just amazing. Yeah, I love gymnastics. That's first what I did when my daughter turned the right age. I brought her to gymnastics. That's first.
Oh.
That's awesome.
I wish my parents put me into gymnastics when I was a kid.
I wish
like,
too.
Yeah, it's something that like as a boy, like you're just like, oh, I'm not gonna do gymnastics. I want to play ice hockey. But like then you grow up and you're like, oh my gosh, they're doing muscle ups. They're doing all these things that are like way more impressive than anything. Like because that level of strength over the body, like it's very different. And in gymnastics, gymnasts are jacked. So like put two and two together. That sounds pretty good to me.
And also, they're working right next to such a nice girls. That's so funny. Just like I said, where I'm from, we used to like, especially like boxers, wrestlers, and like kickboxers. We like kind of like pretend like like all the who the guys who doing light athletic, like the runners or whatever. Like we used they like kind of like they're not man enough. They're not men. Yeah. They all pussies, blah blah. Yeah. But when we're in the national team, it's like extremely hard to find any nice girl in kickboxing national team. But when they go to camp with national team, they had such a beautiful girl. So they're like, okay, who is more man?
Yeah, you're like, we might have this backwards.
Yeah.
You're just like constantly you're like, that's really funny. And then like 10 years later you're just like, you're still looking around.
Something wrong was about my idea before.
You're just like, maybe one day they'll show up. I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's a decent amount of women who are, I mean, obviously there are amazing women MMA fighters, but I feel like there are a decent amount of women who are into watching the UFC as well.
No, of course, yeah. It's just I'm talking about something what I brought from like when I was teenager. Of course, like honestly, if you ever seen like the girls from Belarus, Muay Thai girls, they're on different level. I don't know why. It seems like they like in the Belarusian families, if they see look at my daughter. She's so beautiful. Muay Thai. There's nothing like my Muay Thai. We have to run Muay Thai. Why Muay Thai? All the best girls in Muay Thai is from Belarus. I don't know how does it work, but it's like it is what it is.
Did you ever compete in Romania?
Excuse me, what?
Did you ever compete in Romania?
In Romania? No. I have. I actually I lost my fight in European Championship against guy from Romania. Like that, I become a second, and it was 2012, I believe. Yes, and the guy was from Romania. I'm kind of familiar with him.
If you do a Google search for how much money do kickboxers make, it actually says the world's wealthiest kickboxer is Andrew Tate at $350 million. And so imagine Googling that, being like, I want to be a kickboxer. And then you're just like, oh, wow, this guy makes $350 million kickboxing.
I could do that.
Yeah, so there. We could all just be like Andrew Tate and be worth $350 million kickboxing.
Sounds good. Maybe I should go back to kickboxing now.
Well, Viacheslav, this was a super huge honor to have you on and get to know you better, and I just thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you have a beautiful positivity about you that really puts a smile on my face. Like it's really cool. So
I really appreciate it, guys.
Like Sal said, it's a real honor to talk to you, and thank you for coming on and telling your story. And
seriously, you motivate me too, guys. You motivate me too. Like now, please remember my number. Remember when I become a UFC champ, hit me up. Okay?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I might be gonna be a dick and say, "Oh, who are you?" But still try.
Viacheslav, we're gonna be hitting you up before then. We honestly like these are really cool conversations, and at this point, the three of us we're friends at this point. So thank you for coming on and hanging out. You're really a good dude. So thank you.
I appreciate it, guys. Have a good one.
Enjoy the
Merry
holidays.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh ho ho.
Oh ho.
Man.
Oh
man.
Ho ho ho! I love the punches after.
Wow, that was awesome, man.
Wasn't that cool?
That was so awesome. What awesome.
What a guy.
Yeah.
What a guy.
We say it after every guy, but this guy was what an awesome guy.
Dude, I love them all, man. This sucks. This sucks. What you're doing to me is rude.
Why? By making you root against it? Well, look, you don't have to root against anybody.
I'm not. No, I can't. No, I can't root for anybody at this point.
Why?
If you booked hundreds of fighters and then they're like all fighting each other, I might just have to start watching soccer.
Yeah, and then for some reason we keep getting people at 55.
Dude, I bet on handball today.
Handball.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You're moving on.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. No, it showed up and I had to do it. I'm like, what is this?
Handball. I don't even know what that is.
I took my winning parlay and just lost it all on handball.
Handball. Oh damn! It's a big sport.
It's a real thing. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen this where they have that like sticky. Yeah, I know what this is.
Yeah, it's crazy how betting at the Orlando card, it
ruined you.
It did.
It brought you right back to your evil ways.
Dude, it really... Okay. Yes, it did. But with a little bit more restraint this time.
Okay, so you learned.
I feel like I'm at a safer place with it.
Right.
Because, dude, the thing is, for the month that I took it off, I recognized what it was. I was like, okay, cool. Obviously, I have an addictive personality. Obviously, like, I love... Like or not love, but when I lose, I want to win it back so bad. Like that's what happens.
That's the cycle.
But yeah, it's bad. But the thing is, for that month, I still missed the entertainment aspect of it because like on my downtime, like if I'm just like, done doing a music stream, done doing whatever, like Emily's reading a book, learning some Spanish, doing whatever she does. It's nice to be. And if I've already listened to everything I want to listen to as far as on the YouTubes, it's nice to place a bet. And I definitely did miss that. So it's like, I just need to, I can't let it consume me this time around. 2023 is going to be the year of, you got to conquer the things in your life that you feel are sometimes conquering you. Yeah. That's a quote. Quote it. Quote it.
That's the new one. I gotta make that a soundbite.
Quote it.
Yeah, dude. Just hop on that James Krause Discord. You'll learn how to do everything.
Dude, I'm pretty sure that you can't hop on that Discord anymore.
I'm pretty sure I can't even say his name without getting demonetized or something.
Yeah, you just got us canceled.
Yeah. Well,
Did you listen to TJ Brown talking about
like
talking
his
about
post fight?
Glory?
No.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah,
been.
only 14 other people did, so you got to be a real diehard to click on those.
I'm not on your
Like
level.
me.
I'm not on your level.
No, it's okay. But he was just saying how the gym, because he's at Glory, has just been very awkward, and basically
It's
just
gotta suck.
how James. Yeah, he was like, James took a lot of people in under his wing. Like, we love him. Like, and
Yeah.
you hear that. I mean, he's probably helped a lot of people out on their journey.
I mean,
Dude, I
it's
do need to
interesting.
know. I do need to know, because you did say you would tell me.
What?
What are your thoughts on that fight?
On which fight?
On Patty. You got to tell me.
Oh, on Patty.
Now that we're on the or are you saving this?
Do I want to save it?
Yeah, it's up to you.
I think I'll save it because it's not gonna come out yet.
Cool.
It's a special
Save it.
Christmas holiday episode
Save it, my man.
for all the
Dude, that was a lot of fun.
Fighting Chance fans. Yeah, that was awesome. That was one of my favorite episodes we've done for sure.
He's a really, really cool dude. But I knew he was cool just based off of, like I said, like
Yeah.
he just has that joyous.
Yeah.
I mean, he's smiling when he's answering questions. He doesn't come off like, I don't know,
Insincere or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's.
Dude, he gave
he's
us a ho
enjoying
ho
this.
ho at the end. I think we made it.
Dude, he gave us a ho 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 and told us thank you and that we motivate him as well.
Right, and he said, "Hit me up when I'm champ." That's pretty sick.
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, that is sick. That is sick. And
I'm rooting for him all
the
the
thing
way.
that he doesn't know, though, is he's already a champ to us.
He's a champ in our hearts.
So we're just going to literally be calling him every night and be like, hey,
He's gonna like get
Viacheslav.
mad. No,
Good night.
This is awesome, man. He's been like top 5 of my favorite fighters, and so it's still like surreal that we just talked to him, and he's such a cool guy and all that. It's sick.
I know I do this. I know I do this a lot, but I'm going to do it right now.
Oh, God.
You did a great job.
I appreciate.
I really, you stepped up. Not only did you make that booking,
Yeah.
but which I'm very grateful for. But you asked great questions. You were very engaging. It was really nice to hear you a little bit more on this one.
I appreciate it, man. You killed it as always. You know, you're
Stop
a pro
it. Stop
at
it.
this
This isn't
at
about
this
me.
point.
This,
You're a
stop
pro.
it.
I can't not
is me.
acknowledge you though. I mean, I'm just gonna sit here and be
No,
like, yeah, thank you, bro.
That's
And
what I wanted you to do. That's what I wanted you to
dude,
do.
There's host and hosts. There's no co-host. We're in this together.
We're just coasts.
We're coasts.
East side, west side.
Yeah, but both on the same coast.
Who would you be, Tupac or Biggie
What?
in the coast battle?
In the coast battle. Like, who do I side with?
Yeah, who do you side with? Or Suge Knight, is he your guy?
Yeah. I don't know. This is a deep question to just drop. Where did this come from? You're like, thank you for booking people. Who did you have in the most heated
Because you said
rivalry of the
said
century?
coasts, and I'm like, all right, coast battle.
Yeah. I like Biggie.
There you go.
Yeah. I said it.
There you go.
Well, I think we can wrap this up.
Like a Christmas present.
Like a Christmas present. This was our holiday gift to all of our Fighting Chance fans out there. Hope you guys all have an awesome holiday month. Because it's a month. It's like
It is.
It's not like one night. You're celebrating for a while, you know? It's a month.
It's an energy that we should just keep year round.
Exactly. So,
But thank you for your support.
yeah.
Thank you. Please like, subscribe,
Ring
the
that
bell,
bell.
for notifications.
Yeah.
And we appreciate you being part of this journey.
Yeah.
And we will be back with an amazing year ahead.
Oh, yeah. And we still got one more episode before the new year. I hadn't realized. So this is our Christmas episode, but we'll have a New Year's episode, bro.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, we're double holidaying it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We're going to really drop the ball.
Drop the ball.
Later, my man.
Later.